Sup world, Plant Savvy is here, and today we are going to learn how to plant a potato in a container. Stick around and stay tuned. So, when do you plant your potatoes or plan to plant them? That would be 4 weeks before your last frost. Now here in zone 9A, for me, that would be mid-February or so. So that would be a good idea to consider. So, how do we plant a potato and in what soil? Well, let me show you what items I have here that we're gonna do it with. Of course, a potato, that has the eyes, you can see already growing. So we have growth, this is a rosette potato that we had in the kitchen. It started to grow, so let's keep it going. And what we have here is, of course, because they're very heavy feeders, if you will, you have your tomato tone. This here is basically 346. You can go higher, especially with the mid number as well as the last number, 1010. So the higher those two numbers, the better. But I use this. I got, of course, some of my coffee compost, which has great organic matter and nutrients in it. And lastly, I just have some Miracle-Gro outdoor soil, that we're gonna mix all in there. Indeed. So what I'm gonna do is layer it. I'm gonna take this, put a little bit of my, compost in there. I'm gonna mix it on up with the other soil, because they love that compost because it has additional nutrients, phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen from the coffee. So we're gonna mix all that up real good, got that. And we're gonna take some more of this here soil, and this is the Miracle-Gro outdoor soil. Just top that off. And what I'm doing now is just giving it room to about right there or so, so that it can sit on top of it and grow down to establish more tubers to get more of the potatoes growing. All right, so I'm gonna put that there. I may put a little bit more in there so it's about right there. Some people do it with vertically or horizontally. I've done others where I planted 3 in a bigger container and 6 in another container with 30% compost, 20%, all of that. I'll show you that a little bit later. But for this one, I'm just gonna put it in here. I'm gonna do vertical this time, and I'll show you that. And just top it on off with some more. I want a little bit more, so I'm just gonna put a little bit more of that. Get it nice and messy. Yes. And here's one of the key things you want to do. All right, you know how I showed you the nutrients, the fertilizer, and don't be shy with it. When you put this on in here, just put a nice heap of it, because this is what it's gonna feed off of while it's in there. I know it's dusty, And the key to this is making sure that you also put soil on top of it. What I made a mistake of doing is just putting this here fertilizer on top of the soil without putting soil on top of the fertilizer or mixing it into the soil so the fertilizer can interact and not just sit on top of it. But you can learn from my mistakes. So mix the fertilizer within the soil and compost very nicely, and do not be shy. Put plenty of it in there, and we're just gonna set that baby on top and fill the rest up. Just cannot get it high enough. All right, this should be good. All right, I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna put a little bit more. Watch yourself. And I'm just gonna go right here I'm gonna angle the eyes up because I want it to go ahead and grow on up. You know, stop being childish, potato, and grow up. All right.
You're doing a great job, potato.
Yeah. All right, so we're just gonna keep topping it off. Right there. And of course, you wanna kind of pack it in so those air pockets, you know, you gotta knock it. Gotta get rid of them air pockets. So, bam. All right. All right, so I'm gonna cover it up for the most part all the way. You know, we have plenty of food already in there. We got the additional nutrients from the compost, and we're gonna cover it completely, you know, because those eyes are going to just pop out of there regardless. So yeah, again, packing it down, making sure we don't have too many air pockets, and we're gonna of course water it down so that the nutrients can get activated and start feeding this baby right here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is kind of fast forward time and show you guys some potatoes that I already have planted and how they're doing in this time of February. So to show you the one that I planted back in December, you know, and of course we're here, Florida Zone 9A, so your results will vary depending on which other state environment that you're in. But this one here was planted back in December, and as you can see, this is just one potato, and we have very good growth. It's a rosette potato, you know, and it has survived winter. We had our first historic winter, as you already know, and this is the growth that we have right there. Alrighty, for that little guy. Now we have the bigger babies right here where I planted these, let's see here, February 1st, okay? And as you can see, I got my little notes right here that I love to do. I planted 6 potatoes, and I did a 50% compost in the soil, as well as came behind it and gave some of that their additional fertilizer that you just saw me use with the showcase of how to plant potato. How to plant a potato. All right, so this is the growth that we have for the 6 potatoes that I planted the 1st of this month, February. All right, and we have growth, they're coming on through. And this is also the one that I made the mistake of just putting the fertilizer on top and not inside of it and mixing it together. But the water has automatically taken it down to where it needs to be so they can continually feed. All right, now this one here, of course, this is an experiment, you know, so I experimented, and this one here is 3 potatoes, all right, that I planted at the same time. All right, so this is 3, and this one here has about 3% compost, and the rest is the outdoor, you know, garden soil. And this shows you, you know, the difference. We have growth right here, but not as much as the one with 50% compost. We have more growth because we have more nutrients in this one. So if you want to try that, you know, experiment, feel free to do so. I encourage it because I love experimenting. That's what keeps me intrigued with it all. So as you can see, plant family, that's how you grow potatoes. And let me know what you think of this video by commenting. And of course, if you hadn't already done so, subscribe. And if you need to have any topics on any other gardening, plant life, check out the playlist. I have plenty of them on my previous videos. And of course, you know what else to do, right? Keep planting.
Mad Savvy Production.